You ever talk with a friend and you bring up movies and they start talking about a certain movie and you just go, you know, I've never seen that movie actually. And it's like, Mr. President, a second plane has just hit the World Trade Centers. Everyone's just like, bro, what? You don't think it's a big deal, but apparently, somewhere in your 34 years of life, you should have seen this movie. And while I agree with one of these movies, the other one, not so much. Because I went out with some friends to the movies. A couple of them worked at the movies, a couple of them were my friends, a couple of them worked with me. We all met over there, did a movie double feature. One of the movies, Bubba Hotep. Haven't seen that. Not the biggest deal. Other movie, The Big Lebowski. And I said I haven't seen it. Everybody and their fucking mother was surprised. It's like I shot the family dog or something. I don't know. But seeing my friend from work go, I've seen this movie so many times, it is my all-time favorite movie. And me not seeing it ever made me wonder, how many different movies would people think they've seen more than any other movie? And vice versa, how many of them have I probably not seen? So we gonna do it. I'm going to go through all of your most watched movies, your most cherished and beloved movies, and I'm going to make you all disappointed in me one by one. And then I am going to shoot it over to East Craven, who I got to stand at the album release show with, shoot the shit, interview a little bit, get to know him a little bit more, and pick his brain on what movie he has seen more than any other movie. And then I will give you some deep polls and picks of my own, and you can judge accordingly from the comfort of your own home. I don't care. And of course, like every other week, I got some musical opinions. You know, new songs dropped, songs I might have missed last week. I'm going to tell you about the ones that I did happen to hear, give you my opinions. Maybe they suck, maybe they're great. I ain't going to cherry pick it. I'm not going to water it down. You're going to get the fucking unedited version of my opinions. And then we going to peace out, because I'm sure we all got shit to do, and I don't want this to go for hours upon hours. So with that being said, get a coffee, get a beer, get something comfy on, sit back in your chair, turn up your fucking radio on your car, whatever it is. You're listening to Killing Time, so let's fucking kill some time.
What you doing, son? Nothing. Just chilling. Killing. True.
Upon a time I had a dog and he was black, but then he ate some sticks and died, never to come back. So today I started thinking, wait, maybe he's a ghost. I have absolutely no evidence or proof. My dog is a ghost. My dog is a ghost.
I don't even have a dog. And no, it's not because he's a ghost now. I'm allergic. It wouldn't be smart for me to have a dog. I put too much agave syrup in my coffee because I'm one of those weirdos that does that instead of sugar. And now this shit's entirely too sweet. I feel like a hummingbird. Just sitting here drinking brown sugar water. Heart's gonna fucking spaz out at 300 BPM. Sounding like a fucking Black Dahlia Murder song on the drums. Goddamn, dude, I'm gonna die. I'm not gonna dump it though. I'm gonna keep it. Keep drinking it, because I ain't no bitch. And I don't want to waste food. But I am gonna complain the entire time. Because that's who I am as a person. So before we get into all the movie stuff, was transitioned that way by going to the spot for my interview with East Craven. We are at the spot in Nashua, New Hampshire. I'm at the spot with my boy East Craven.
East Craven.
It's his album EP release show. The show is stacked with artists.
Yes,
we got Don Polly, we got Louis Cyphers, we got fucking
boy.
ADD like a mad bitch right now. What the fuck? I'm like running down the people's names and I was like, oh, somebody. We got East Craven, we got me, Kill Murray, we got Dom Polly, we got Louis Cyphers, we got Gigi, the Snowman. It's gonna be fucking sick. They're embracing with a hug. But yeah, the show is stacked. I'm excited to rip it. I love being here. The sound's always good. They treat the people fucking great. But for those who might not know you, where are you from and how long have you been doing this, East Craven?
So technically I'm from Clinton, Massachusetts. I've been claiming Worcester for a couple years, lived out there, went to college out there. Currently out in Manchester, New Hampshire. And what influenced me was, I mean, you know...
Rude.
I'm a very creative person and I feel like video games kind of inspired that. And the song Master Material that ended up being, I think, the first single on this album really kind of set a tone of like using the imagination for good and to kind of process, I guess, my memories and my emotions and the things that I've been through and kind of I've been working on this album for like 2 or 3 years, so I really kind of made it into a concept when I feel like I actually originally had like 9 or 10 songs and I broke it down into like my core. And then my goal is to kind of change the vision for the next album. So.
Yeah, just set it up. What? So you're like setting up right now, and then whatever didn't make it onto this is onto the next one, right?
It's kind of like I've debated on going with different sounds and different even names, but I don't want to like have too many different artist names and 2 different sounds. I mean, I've talked to you before about how like you were involved in like metal and hardcore. And,
oh yeah, we're both from the metal and hardcore scene.
We both tried to kind of, we learn from that, and like, as you're saying, like Jedi mind tricks, and like, like Vinny Paz will go to terror shows and hardcore shows, and there was that culture that kind of started what we have now. But for me, I ended up going the route of like a rap artist and trying to write songs that just had a lot of depth, and I incorporate on the album some like playful moments to kind of break it up. And that's also kind of the balance of life, right? Like the serious, dark shit that we confront, but also the joyful moments. And I think the album is a good job representing that.
Yeah, you don't want it all one tone because you want to break up the emotions so that when the emotions come back, they really hit you good.
And I think the influence, if you think about like the going back and forth, like, early 2000s, Kill Switch Engage, all that remains, the melodic deathcore. Kind of like breaking up with these really melodic choruses with these verses that are really hardcore, and I kind of wanted to use, that kind of was my influence behind doing what I do now, I guess.
Hell yeah. So you got this new album, Pardon My French. There's a lot of messages on this, and I know you told me at the last show some of the themes that you went on with. But you got wordplay, you got messages, you got stories, you got style change-ups. So what is the big thing that you wanted to try to portray with Pardon My French? Like, what are some of the big stories coming out of that for you?
I think on a very surface level, there's an irony, there is a humor. The album is called Pardon My French, but there's not a single swear.
I didn't fucking realize that. As I swear.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's not a single fucking swear. And I became a teacher about 8-9 years ago, and I've taught back and forth, and I've taught all kinds of different populations, and my experience, no matter where I teach, always kind of creates the perception or the persona that I'm trying to capture. So part of my identity, I had to kind of embrace, like, not Disney, but like a more playful, like, almost like a G-rated like rap artist, and like a
more
swearing.
Palatable thing for the general public.
Even like if I'm doing this as a hustle, a side hustle, maybe I can like make jingles and I can make stuff that's just like randomly heard, and like that's just the music that's out. You know what I mean? So, and like that's why I enjoy performing and having people fucking know the words and shit. You know what I mean? So it's kind of been a good path, and shout out to my boy Jay, who was a part of like a lot of the guitar work and getting the beats going with it. We really put something together that really special.
Yeah. So the first time that I saw you was the last time you were at the spot.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that this was actually going to be part of a song, but I listened to one of your songs on the album, and you name drop Parappa the Rappa. I don't have a question about that, but I just need to put over how fucking happy that made me, because that's such a pull. And it's not something you would expect to be dropped on a hip-hop album.
Yeah, no, it's hilarious. It's hilarious. And what I love about, so shout out to Open Gates. I got Don Pauly over here from Ghost Drop Productions.
Ghost Drop Media.
He did my video. He did the video for Open Gates, and I had a lot of fun with the wordplay on that song, man. The intent going into it was have fun and like kind of just do a bunch of wordplay, be serious but be funny. Yeah. It kind of really set the tone for the album.
Yeah.
So yeah, Parappa the Rapper.
I was like, I know he was saying that half of the stuff he was just kind of making it up, and I was like, okay, maybe that's a line. And then I listened to it, I was like, Parappa the Rapper fucking made it. So
you know, it also taps back into like that was the 90s joke. You know, people that were like, our friends, like, oh, I'm gonna rap, and we call you Parappa the Rapper. Like, you know what I mean?
So if we can tie it back to the topic of today's podcast, is we're talking about movies that you have seen more than any other movies, and you don't need to be 100% like on point with what that movie might be. No one's gonna fact check you. I'm sure nobody knows your fucking viewing habits, but if you can take a guess to a movie or a couple movies that you've seen probably too many times, honestly, what would they be? Every podcast episode so far has been wild polls and things you would not expect somebody to say.
Yeah. So you asked me the question if I was a movie guy, and I said yes. And I watch a lot of shows now, I'd say.
Yeah.
And it's really a thing I do with my fiance. We're getting married. Shout out to Cassie, getting married.
Shout out.
April 4th. And I would have to say it's a toss-up between The Labyrinth.
Okay.
And I'm gonna go with The Labyrinth.
Okay, Labyrinth,
because I'll explain. Because me and my sister had this connection with that movie, and not only is it just rewatching it, but it's kind of reliving memories of even having like your dad, like our dad passed away. Rest in peace to James. Rest in peace to Jimmy.
Shout out Jimmy.
Kind of just brings us back to like being with our dad, singing the songs, the imagination of it too. You know what I mean? The whole Goblin King and have to go and save the princess.
A lot of imagination.
The story is just beautiful, man. It really is.
I think we got the pattern continuing. Yeah. Another great poll that I did not expect. I was expecting something like The Godfather or something like that. I think because last episode it was bands you've seen more than any other bands. And we had two rappers, and one of them said Breaking Benjamin, and then the other one said Tame Impala.
It's a good band, though.
Yeah, so I'm like, I don't know what to expect anymore. So I'm just going to assume they're going to be deep fucking polls.
I'm just going to give them the microphone and let them say what the fuck they're going to do.
So thank you so much, East Craven, for your time. And I'm looking forward to the show. It's about to kick off soon.
Man, let's do it. Thanks, man.
That was East Craven, and I thought I was definitely going to look like a fool and just not know the movie that he chose, because I didn't really get into movies until super recently. So I was like, fuck, dude, I am screwed. He's going to say like a deep cut, and I'm just going to have to go, hell yeah, brother, hell yeah. And not know a fucking thing he's talking about. But yeah, Labyrinth is a solid as fuck movie. I wonder what that second pick would have been. Well, time to get into the movies. And I have a plethora of movies from across the board. A big old spectrum of movies, and I do not know what that encompasses. So maybe I'll dig myself a hole. Maybe I'll get out of this unscathed. Maybe my reputation will not take a digger. I'll let you know if I haven't seen a movie. And let's fucking go. Lenore Lenz says, "Who Framed Roger Rabbit?" I haven't seen that movie. I'm sorry. I've always wanted to, and it's one of those movies where it's like, oh, I'll watch that when I have more time, and then I have more time and I completely forget. And now that I'm remembering, I'm probably still not going to watch it. At this point, I'm like 34. I'm just going to continue the bit. Fuck it. First one in the bag and it's already a no. It's not looking good for me. Nick White says The Breakfast Club. I've seen that movie. I've seen that one. I've seen that one. It's been like 20 years, but I've seen that one. So, booyah. Will Mercier says Happy Gilmore. Now, I've definitely seen that one, and I've seen that one quite a few times. Nowhere near how many times I've seen my most seen movie, but it's definitely up there for Happy Gilmore. It's Suicide Child, New England rapper Suicide Child, says Superbad. Now, this is another movie that I've seen a lot, but it's still not as much as the movie that I'm going to say for my picks later on. The Instagram account known as Third Rate Content says John Borman's Excalibur. Now, I'll be honest with you, homie. I have no fucking clue what that is. So safe to say, I have not watched it. Is it good? I don't know. Is it bad? I also don't know. Will I watch it? I also don't know. Probably not. Now there is a TikTok account by the name of Powell Peralta. I had a mini heart attack as I clicked and thinking that, hey, if this is the Powell Peralta surf and skate brand, that will be fucking crazy. Alas, it was not. But their picks are Big Trouble in Little China, Snatch, and Kill Bill. Well, Powell Peralta, not the real thing. I have not seen either of those movies. Booyah! Fuck my life. Craig Grande on TikTok says Super Troopers. I fucking love that movie. Not one that I've seen a lot, but one that stuck with me and it feels like I've watched it a lot. Super Troopers 2 is also pretty fucking solid. I can't wait for the next one. Just a few more left to go. Kyle N says Hot Fuzz. Love that movie too. Six-Fingered Devil's Hand. Wild name. Says Ghost in the Shell. I actually almost watched that last week and then I never did. Maybe I should. And Chris. Just Chris. Says probably a three-way tie between Friday, Dazed and Confused, or Super Troopers. Those are also solid movies. I've seen every one of those. So I think there was only 3 or 4 people out of this whole list that I haven't seen those movies. I'll take that as a win. I thought it was going to be like all of them except for 2. Now, I asked somebody at my work what they thought the movies that I've seen more than any other movie would be. And I almost feel insulted. One person said Fight Club, which I saw that like once in like around when it came out. And then another person said The Hangover, which I've seen that like 5 times. Nothing substantial though. But time for me to ruin expectations because what you thought I would say is not what I was going to say. Giving you a top 5 of movies that I've seen more than any other movie. Let's go. You want to talk about deep cuts and deep pulls? Number 5 is Short Circuit 2. You know that movie with Fisher Stevens pretending to be an Indian doctor technician guy? And there's a robot lost in New York City? Yeah, that movie. I've watched it so much because growing up, there was a good chunk of time where we didn't have cable. And all we had were the movies that were at the house. That was one of those movies. And I would watch it with my dad like every other week for like 2 years. It was crazy. The fact that that movie is in my most watched thing, not a single person would have ever guessed that. A movie that is right next to that is Jawbreaker. I watched it so much when I was like 15, 16, and then didn't watch it again for like 10 years. recently started watching again, and now it's my go-to whenever I'm bored. I've watched it so many times. I think I watched that movie like 5 or 6 times last year, and then like 7 times the year before that. And then just like all those times where I watched it as an impressionable teenager, and I was like, let me just rewind over that popsicle scene again so I can watch it again. And again. So many times. Number 3 has got to be Austin Powers Gold Member. Now, I don't particularly remember the reason why I watched it so many times. Because, you know, there were better movies at that time, especially in like the early to mid 2000s. But in like a 2-year span, I think I watched that movie like 30 times. For reasons I don't fucking know. And you can tell it permanently fucked with my brain. Because I'm not a regular person anymore. I live by quotes and blurbs from fucking movies and TV shows. And a lot of them were just like Austin Powers quotes for the longest time. It's gotta be close to 30 or 40. Like, it's in the 30s, close to 40s, the amount of times I've watched this movie. There's only 2 movies that I've seen more than that. They are both comedies, though, so that probably explains a few things. Movie number 2. Was I too young to watch this at 8 years old? Probably. But it's Night at the Roxbury. Came out in 1998, and I was watching this when I was like 8 or 9 years old with my sister. It was probably like a 2 or 3 time a week thing. It was like our bonding moment. We couldn't agree on much, but what we could agree on was this movie fucking rocked. We both liked Saturday Night Live. We both loved Will Ferrell. We both loved Chris Kattan. We quoted this movie so often. I can probably just put it on, turn off the sound, and just recite every single thing said and every action in this movie without fail. This is easily in the 40s. And is it a good movie? No. But it was my movie. It was my movie of choice up until my sister moved away. And so from like 8 years old to like 17, that was my fucking movie. The only movie to beat that and be the king of movies that I've watched entirely too many times is Grandma's Boy. I've been with my wife for just about 15 years now. And within the first year of us being together, this was determined to be our, I don't know what I want to watch, let's watch this again kind of movie. And it was already kind of that movie for me beforehand. Together, we've probably watched this about 45 times. Easily. And without her, I've probably watched it another 10 to 15 times. I can recite everything. I do recite everything. I quote it entirely too often wherever I shouldn't, like work or at my mom's house when I visit my sister, and to just anybody who will listen. I toss it in regular ass conversation. Yeah, I'm a nerd for this movie. Did it age well? Not entirely. Are a lot of the people in this movie fucking terrible people in real life? Yeah. But this is one of the few times where I have no problem at all separating the art from the artist, because this is peak cinema in my eyes when it comes to comedy. And it will continue to be my movie that I pick when I don't know what else to watch. So maybe in like 2 years or so, we will cross that 100 marker. And I can just, just hang up my jersey in the rafters. I'm done. No more things left to do. I have officially become a simp for Grandma's Boy. Now, I know nobody comes here for my list. They want music. And that's what I'm going to give them, because this week, goddamn, there were some fucking hitters.
Feels like
New York-based hardcore band Crush Your Soul just dropped another album titled Ice Water. These motherfuckers dropped an album last year, made it to the top 5 of my favorite albums of last year, and then it's January and they drop another? The audacity. This is a short little album. It's like 6 or so actual songs and then broken up with a bunch of interludes with like spoken word, movie clips, people talking, all that stuff. Really gives off like the streets of New York vibes and then just like ass beating hardcore. Jay Mindforce knows exactly what the fuck he's doing when it comes to Crush Your Soul. And they have not released anything bad since I found out about them in 2024. This isn't as good as last year's album, but it's definitely one to check out. I give it like a B+. Massachusetts-based band Nailed Shut MA just dropped a fucking heater. This is like Tony Danza meets Heavy Lolo meets Darko. It's just all over the place as far as timing and speed goes, but just balls to the wall when it comes to aggressiveness. You can't put your finger on one specific style on this song. It's just hard, angry, and evil. Centipede is definitely one of the best drops that I've listened to this week. And I've listened to it over and over and over again yesterday while working. Probably shouldn't listen to music while I'm at my job, but I do. Fucking sue me. I give this release a solid A. It goes hard as fuck. And if you're in the area, March 5th, I believe, they are doing an album release show at the Sinclair in Cambridge with Frog Mallet, Multiple Pieces, and Slamwich. And it's $20 ahead of time, so contact one of the bands to get tickets. 25 day of show, but it's going to be fucking dope. Sinclair is probably one of my favorite venues. I go to Roadrunner because it's a little easier for me, but Sinclair never disappoints when I go to a show there. The new Of Sulfur album titled Endless just dropped, and boy howdy is this fucking incredible. In many ways, this sounds like Lorna Shore, except this band does cleans, looks scary, works out, and hasn't released the same thing for the last 4 years. So, Of Sulfur gets my vote. Normally, I'm not interested in having cleans in my deathcore, but they make it work. It doesn't really seem out of place because they have melody to their darkness. And also, it's not like whiny, like, oh, I hate my parents kind of shit. It's just like regular ass singing. And that does the job. I'm surprised this band hasn't blown the fuck up. And this might be the album to do it. Because the hard parts are Lorna Shore. The singing and stuff and the less hard parts are essentially Sleep Token. And you put them together and it's both what everybody's been going goo goo gaga for the last 5 years in one package. And still, nobody knows who Of Sulfur is? Bullshit. I'm not even a fan of either of those bands, but I love this band. And for that, I give this album an A+. Hell, I'd give this shit a fucking A just for the guitar solos alone. Hardcore band Life Turned Cold just dropped an EP today. And it was good. Until the guy opened his mouth. God damn, this is like hardcore fundamentals nailed. And then the vocalist comes in with the dumbest sounding vocals, the most try-hard, tough guy, unimaginable fucking lyrics. It was kind of like, don't turn your back on family, I'm loyal to a fault. there's two wolves inside of me kind of bullshit. And I was not about it. If I could just like extract the vocals from this and just have the instrumental, I would be very, very happy. But I can't. So I won't. This was good until it wasn't, and that is about 40 seconds into this bullshit. Goddamn. I thought we were going to be a clean sweep this week. I thought it was going to be nothing but hitters. Something had to go in there and sneak into the radar and be like, hey, I'm good. Okay, let's check you out. Poop from a butt. I'll give this like a D+, because literally the only thing that mattered and sounded good was the instrumentals, and even that was like paint by numbers hardcore. Like, I know they've been doing this for a while and all that shit, but this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. Now, before we end this shit, of course, we got some plugs. And for these plugs, I have a show that I'm playing, a show that I'm booking, and a show I have nothing to do with, but it sounds dope as fuck, and you should probably go. Monday, January 26th, at Midway Cafe in Boston, Massachusetts. It is a hip-hop and pop showcase featuring myself, Infamous A, Militia Rashad, Shinozuke, Ace Don, Chemic, Hearts, DRI, and Chrissy Shikalis. This is stacked from a hip-hop point of view, but from the pop stuff, I don't really know the artists. I'm sure it's gonna be fine. Infamous A and Great Vibes Entertainment, they got an eye for talent. They know what the fuck is up. It's gonna be high energy all fucking night. I'm going balls to the wall with my angry shit. I'm trying to do the angriest set I've ever done. So come on out to that in Boston, Massachusetts. It's $10 cash only venue, but they make good drinks and it's always a great time. So come out to the Midway Cafe Monday, January 26th. Next up, February 20th in Manchester, New Hampshire, I'm throwing my own show. Kill Murray presents Rap and Metal Showcase at the Bungalow in Manchester, New Hampshire. And I've got 4 hip-hop artists, 3 metal bands, a DJ, and just a great night of drinks and music, because I cannot fucking wait. We got Quick Before the Outbreak, we got Symposium, we have Arms Like Teeth, Ace Don, Animatronic the Abolisher, Cryptic, and myself. It is $15 at the door, so please make sure to come out to that. It's very affordable for today's standards as far as shows go. Shit's outstandingly priced right now. Holy fuck. Not to go off on a little tangent here, but I didn't realize until super recently how much ties I have with a lot of these artists playing. I booked Quick Before the Outbreak about 14 years ago in Massachusetts at Anchors Up. Multiple times at Anchors Up. And I thought that was like the oldest person that I had to fucking tie to. Then I remember I booked Rumors of Betrayal 2 times in like 2012 and 2013 as well. Once at Anchors Up and once in Manchester at the Alpine Club. And the guitarist for Rumors of Betrayal is now in Arms Like Teeth. And I thought that was going to be probably the longest one. But there's another one because another member of Arms Like Teeth used to be in Your Chariot Awaits. And I booked under Last Chance Booking from 2008 to about 2012. And I booked them on a thing called Mosh Fest in Allenstown, New Hampshire. The fucking connections keep on coming, and I cannot wait for this show to fucking go down. So once again, it is Symposium, Arms Like Teeth, Quick Before the Outbreak, Ace Don, Cryptic, Animatronic the Abolisher, and Kill Murray, February 20th at the Bungalow in Manchester, New Hampshire. And the day after that show, in February 21st, in New Bedford, Massachusetts, at the Panthers Club, it is Winter Warzone Fest. It's Concrete, edict, bound, cerebral hemorrhage, cranial damage, what weapons bring war, Branch Davidian, altar, prominence, war party, and far too late. The show starts at noon and is $13 if you get your tickets ahead of time. $20 if you get them at the door. It is all ages, so bring your whole fucking family if they like that heavy shit. And come on down to Panthers Club in New Bedford, Massachusetts. It looks fucking stacked, and it's gonna be heavy as shit. So there, you have new music to check out. You got some shows to look forward to, and if you want, you got some movies to check out. Maybe add to your list and watch them incessantly until you get fucking 100 views and you become a movie simp yourself. I don't know. I'm not your freaking mom. I don't care. But I hope you enjoyed your time here. Next week, we're doing sort of an Ask Me Anything kind of deal. I'm going to go through, answer as many questions as I can, talk about as much fucking great music as I can, and if anything else happens in between point A to point B when that shit drops, we can talk about that shit too. It's not really a plan. I just want to get it all out of my system because the week after, we're taking a break. The week is fucking incredibly busy. I got a show. I got an award show. I got work. I got my wife's birthday. I ain't fucking around with trying to make time for this, for that day. So, I guess we're going to take an off week, the episode after next. So we're going to get it all out of our system next week, take a break, and come back stronger than fucking ever. So thank you for sitting back and chilling and killing some time with me. I hope you had a good time, and hope you have a good night.